In our previous episode, Lin had officially stepped into the Divine Tower to begin his trial. The purpose was simple: aimed to help him understand the strengths, quirks, and combat styles of various professions. His first opponent turned out to be a wave archmage. At first, the match felt evenly paced, but as Lin got more comfortable, the guy finally decided to go all in. As expected, the guy grinned, convinced his ultimate skill had landed clean. Although it was a clean hit, but just seconds later Lin respawned, and this time both of them are now level 32. However, by now, our boy had already picked up the guy's techniques, all the while adapting with startling speed. The fight grew intense once more, but it didn't last long. The guy quickly sensed something was off, and right below him, a water pillar suddenly burst up from beneath his feet. He dodged in time, but realized this wasn't his strategy at all. He then remarked how terrifying the puppet's learning ability was. Not only had the puppet absorbed his fighting style, but now he was being outclassed by it. Just as he pondered on what to do next, our boy had already begun casting the same ultimate move. However, there was no time to dodge, and just like that, the guy was submerged and defeated. Seconds later, he found himself teleported elsewhere. He let out a quiet sigh and admitted to himself that he'd lost. Meanwhile, back in the tower, Lin reflected on the fight, thinking it helped him fully grasp the unique rhythm and mechanics of a wave archmage. He figured this was what his teacher meant by mastery, and he was already eager to see what the next profession had in store. Outside the tower, the next challenger's name was called. A confident young girl entered. She was level 45 and a whirlwind mage. The moment she stepped into the trial, Lin had already morphed into her exact form. She immediately caught on that this was a duel against a puppet and wasted no time firing off a wind blade. It was even faster than the ice arrow from before, and when she saw how easily the puppet got hit, she made a note to herself that this trial seemed much easier than expected. A few minutes later, after several defeats, our boy quickly adjusted his tempo, syncing up with her combat rhythm. Before long, he'd turned the tables and the girl was defeated and teleported away, confused over how she could possibly lose to a puppet. Not far away, the guy asked her what level she had reached before losing, and she answered level 32. Realizing it wasn't just his own shortcoming, the man breathed a sigh of relief. The girl remarked how the puppet's learning curve was just too fast. Soon, a third person joined them. The girl instantly recognized him as a level 46 flame mage. Together, the three of them watched the next match unfold. This time, the opponent was a knight. One of them suddenly pointed out something strange, noticing that the puppet's fighting style had started blending traits from all their professions. Curious, the other guy asked what he meant. So he went on explaining he'd heard that divine-level professionals not only master their own path, but can even grasp the essence of other professions. Now seeing it with his own eyes, he figured perhaps they had all unknowingly become training dummies for the future divine General Lin. Hearing this, the girl suddenly let out a startled gasp, and then a thought struck her which made her realize perhaps that puppet wasn't just a puppet at all. What if it had been Lin all along? That would mean this entire Divine Tower trial this time was crafted purely for his sake. But before she could finish the thought aloud, a voice interrupted with a light chuckle, commending them for being sharp, but also wanting them not to spread the word. From there, more and more people began gathering around them. Meanwhile, Lin continued facing off against a wide range of professions, all sorts of knight professions, then assassins, later archers, and eventually spellbinders. With each battle, his understanding deepened. He gradually came to a clear realization that no profession was perfect. No matter how strong a profession appeared, every single one had its flaws. He then remarked that his own necromancer profession wasn't without weaknesses. That said, while a profession itself might never be flawless, The person who wielded it could always strive for better. Maybe no one could ever reach true perfection, but one could definitely keep getting closer. A clarity struck him, and he realized this was the true foundation of becoming a divine-level professional. Back in the small courtyard, the three old pals watched the projection with satisfied smiles. White Divine remarked that Lin's performance had already surpassed what Crazy Yan had achieved back in his days. Hearing this, Yan snorted in response, claiming Lin was clearly doing better than White Divine ever had. Off to the side, Meng Anwen calmly sipped his tea, noting that as long as Lin could fully grasp the essence of each profession, then this divine tower trial could be considered a complete success. He suggested they simply let the boy enjoy the next 10 days of training. And so the days passed. 10 days later, a strange pattern had caught everyone's attention outside the tower. People started to realize that none of the challengers who had entered were coming back out. Whispers started circulating, all wondering what was going on inside. Just as speculation began to spread, the first person was teleported out. It was Lin, but just himself. Moments later, beams of light flashed across the area, and one by one, more people were teleported out. But people soon realized everyone's expressions were all a bit strange. Curious onlookers couldn't help but wonder what exactly had gone down inside that tower.